He who has the most of God in his heart has the least of the world in his heart. These words, credited to Jonathan Edwards, an American revivalist preacher from the 18th century, struck a chord deep within my soul the moment I encountered them. They speak to a longing many of us carry, a longing for a life that transcends the superficial enticement of worldly achievements and possessions, a life rich with the presence of God. I hope these words resonate with you as they did with me, inspiring you to fill your heart with so much more of God that there's no room left for the fleeting pleasures, loss, and distractions of the world. We live in a world today where God often becomes an afterthought, a footnote. He is no longer at the center of our decisions or actions. This reminds me of a profound question that Jimmy Carter, the former president of the United States, once heard in church as a young man. If you were arrested for being a Christian, would there be enough evidence to convict you? Take a moment to pause and reflect on that. For many of us, it might be all too easy to hide our faith, given the lack of evidence in our lives. And as Christians, we are called to be different. The Apostle Paul puts it plainly in 2 Corinthians 6:17. Come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord. This is not a call to live in isolation, but a call to live lives that reflect Christ. Paul exhorts us in 1 Corinthians 11:1. Imitate me as I imitate Christ. And Peter reminds us in 1 Peter 1:16 of God's command, be holy, for I am holy. Holiness is not an impossible ideal, but a guiding principle for how we live as believers. There's a distinction between righteousness and holiness that we must understand. As believers, we are declared righteous through faith in Jesus Christ. 2 Corinthians 5:21 reminds us, for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God in him. Righteousness is our legal standing before God, a gift we received by grace. But holiness is what God calls us to pursue after salvation. Holiness is the process of sanctification, becoming more like Christ as we walk with him daily. As Paul writes in 2 Corinthians 3:18, but we all with unveiled face, beholding as in a mirror the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from glory to glory, just as by the Spirit of the Lord. Salvation is just the beginning. We are called to separate ourselves from vice and align our lives with God's principles. John writes in 1 John 2, verse 16, for all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but is of the world. D.L. Moody once said, if I walk with the world, I can't walk with God. Loving the world puts us on a collusion course with God. As Paul urged the Colossians in Colossians 3:1-2, since then you have been raised with Christ. Set your hearts on things above, where Christ is seated at the right hand of God. Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things. Holiness isn't just about personal purity. It's about living in a way that reflects God's love and righteousness to those around us. It's about dedicating our time, talents, and resources to what matters most to God. God's purpose for us on earth transcends mere existence. We are called to live out the mission Jesus exemplified, living out our faith in tangible ways that influence the world for the better. Let us hold on to this profound truth. He who has the most of God in his heart has the least of the world in his heart. When we embrace this truth, we find our lives transformed. We begin to prioritize God's will over worldly desires. This alignment sanctifies us and fills us with peace, a peace that transcends all earthly pleasures. In seeking God wholeheartedly, we discover true fulfillment, reflecting the holiness He calls us to. Be holy, even as I am holy. May we grow in the grace, knowledge, and favor of the Lord. Amen.